and welcome to this explainer. Right off the bat, we're diving into something that's, frankly, incredibly complex, yet amazingly common. We're talking about depression, but specifically, its hidden manifestations. Today, we're going to walk through 10 distinct ways this condition secretly takes over. We'll trace it step by step, looking at exactly how it morphs from a purely internal mental struggle right into outward physical behaviors. Using insights straight from mental health research, we're building a clear roadmap of what this actually looks like, not the stereotypes, but the reality. So if you're ready for a focused and pretty eye-opening journey, let's just jump right in.
To really grasp the scale of what we're dealing with, we have to start with a staggering number, 300 million. Worldwide, right now, there are 300 million people battling this condition. I mean, just think about that. That spans people of all ages in absolutely every corner of the globe. So whether it's your friend, a family member, a coworker, or, maybe even yourself, this is a reality that touches pretty much everyone in some capacity. But crazy enough, despite how incredibly common it is, the way it operates is still so deeply misunderstood.
The original research we're pulling from today uses this absolutely perfect French word to describe depression. The word is sournois, which translates perfectly to sneaky. And that hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's a condition that operates entirely in the shadows. It's incredibly difficult to spot at first. In fact, most of us only realize we're even dealing with depression when we are already stuck deep at the bottom of the hole. It just creeps in, leaving people feeling empty, sad, exhausted, and super agitated way before they can ever put a name to what's happening to them. Okay, so to make sense of this, we're going to follow a sort of inside-out trajectory today. First, the sneaky mental disorder. Second, the mind against itself. Third, the body's exhaustion. Fourth, chaos and isolation. And finally, number 5, understanding these behaviors.
All right, let's start with part 1, the sneaky mental disorder.
Which brings us to part 2, the mind against itself. Now, this innermost circle is where the illness first really sinks its teeth in and starts setting these hidden psychological traps. Let's break down the first 4 manifestations here. Number 1 is catastrophizing. Your mind actively tricks you into expecting the worst. You might even find yourself purposely seeking out bad news just to validate your own pessimistic thoughts. It's like your brain is collecting proof that life is awful. Then we have numbers 2 and 3, intense guilt and living in constant fear. People end up talking so terribly to themselves, building this profound self-hatred where they truly believe every single problem is 100% their fault. And then there's manifestation number 4, a total, crushing lack of motivation and a deep numbness. You know those hobbies you used to love? Suddenly, nothing. You just slowly feel dead inside. And honestly, if you aren't careful, you can end up just staying in bed all day long. And all of that anxiety and pessimism, that fuels manifestation number 5, self-sabotage. The research actually calls this a twisted way to protect yourself. Think about it. If you're living in this perpetual, terrifying fear that something awful is right around the corner, what do? You sabotage the good things. You start thinking, well, this good situation is going to turn bad anyway, so I might as well destroy it first. People will reject amazing opportunities or just flat out stop chasing their dreams. It's a defense mechanism, yes, but an incredibly twisted one because it's actively stopping them from actually living.
Moving outward, we hit part 3, the body's exhaustion.
So as that intense mental battle bleeds into the physical body, we see manifestations 6 and 7. And these are all about extremes, specifically with sleep and eating. Depression pushes your basic survival instincts to their absolute limits. Take sleep, for example. For some, the brain is constantly screaming that something is wrong, making them so anxious they stay up all night, barely sleeping at all. But then, on the flip side, others sleep way too much, yet they never ever wake up feeling rested. And we see that exact same extreme split in the kitchen. Some folks will eat literally everything in the fridge, trying to basically swallow or gnaw away that internal emptiness. Meanwhile, others lose their appetite entirely. They might feel completely disgusted by food, or honestly, they're just too exhausted by the mere idea of making a meal.
And this brilliantly illustrates our 8th manifestation, which is also one of the most painfully misunderstood, declining hygiene. Look, to an outsider, watching someone fail to brush their teeth or wash their hair or change their clothes, it just looks like plain old laziness. But the reality? It's completely different. Depression drains you so much that the act of getting out of bed is like climbing a mountain. Stepping into a shower isn't something they're avoiding out of laziness. It is actively exhausting and, as the source describes it, physically painful.
This takes us to part 4, chaos and isolation.
Now we're seeing how all of this spills over and wrecks a person's external environment. Enter manifestation number 9, severe clutter and disorganization. Because of that total lack of physical energy we just talked about, basic cleaning becomes an impossible task. Dishes and laundry pile up, the trash overflows, and everything just ends up on the floor. And the tragic part is, living in this mess makes the person deeply uncomfortable, but they have zero energy to fix it. The situation feels so devastating and completely out of control that instead of dealing with it, they just avoid the accumulating problems entirely.
And finally, this devastating progression ends in manifestation number 10, complete social isolation. When someone with severe depression shuts themselves away, sometimes staying inside their home for weeks on end, it is rarely because they just want some alone time. The crucial point from the source material is this: they isolate because the very idea of socializing is completely overwhelming. And even worse, they often harbor so much intense hatred towards themselves that they simply prefer not to inflict their presence on other people. They just shut the door on the world out of sheer exhaustion and self-disgust.
Finally, let's wrap up with part 5, understanding these behaviors. By walking through these 10 manifestations today, we can really clearly see the pattern, right? Internal mental traps trigger physical exhaustion, which ultimately destroys a person's external environment. Demystifying this inside-out trajectory is absolutely crucial. It validates the highly painful reality of the people suffering through it, and it helps loved ones recognize symptoms that might otherwise be mistaken for laziness or apathy. So what do you think? Do you agree with this progression? What other sneaky manifestations have you noticed in yourself or the people around you? Take a moment to really reflect on that.